In this video, we will continue on the series of on-prem lab with the Ryzen 7 5700 system using Windows 10 20H2 build, 64 gigabytes of memory using VMware Workstation 16. In this lab, part 4, we will show you the download and install of Windows Server 2022 and download and install of Windows 11. First thing we need to do is create a Server 2012 VM. Now you'll notice in VMware 16, it doesn't have a 2022. You could choose 2019, it's fine. Label it 2022. We'll stay with the defaults. We'll give this 4 gigabytes of RAM just to give it a little more to use, and leave these default settings. Actually, why don't we go back and use bridged for the networking. Next, defaults, default, and let's leave that at 60 for now. Now we've created the VMware machine. Now let's create a VMware machine for Windows 11. Same thing, leave defaults, choose the OS later, Windows. This time we will use Windows 10 64 because again, this version of VMware Workstation doesn't have the latest OSs listed. There might be an upgrade coming out or an update coming out soon for this version we're using, but for now we can use Windows 10 64. Call this one 11. Same thing, use the defaults. Let's bump the RAM to 4 gigabytes. And we'll use these default, networking, we will use bridging, and we'll leave the defaults for everything else. So now we have Server 2022 and a Windows 11 machine. Let's add the ISOs. We've downloaded. Server 2022 will download from the Evaluation Center. You can just choose an ISO here and download. And Windows 11, you can download the installation media or download the ISO itself. And you can choose to download that right now. And that's how you obtain those ISOs. Now you've already downloaded. We want to edit the VM. We want to choose the CD. Let's include the ISO. In this case, in our downloads folder. We want to choose Windows Pro 11. Now I'm using a different image, but that's fine. You can use whichever image. Oh, sorry. I chose 11. We need to choose 2022. So Server Core 2022. And on the 11, we're going to choose the ISO for Windows 11. And you click OK. And let's power them on. Powered them on, you'll notice they want you to push space to boot the CD. So you just have to click into the VM. So if you click anywhere in this window here, it will take into the VM and give it control of the keyboard, if you don't know that already. So Server 2022 is going through the install. Really, if you've installed Windows 7, 8, 10, and now 11, or Server 2008, 2012, 2016, 2019, any one of those versions of Windows you've ever installed will go through the same standard build. In this case here, we want a standard with desktop. Make sure you choose desktop experience. If not, it will be a non-GUI OS, which is Core. We want a GUI, so we choose this. I'll go to Windows 11 now. Let's go with Windows 11 Pro. The one you download from this site, it may not provide all these options, but this is fine. You still need a key to run it. Now, see right here, this is something we want to see with Windows 11, but we'll back out for a second and see if 2022 does it. So we understand the license. We want to custom install, choose the drive, click new, apply. That will apply the proper partitions. Click next, and it will start downloading and installing the install files from the ISO file into the drive. This is a one big thing that a lot of people are going to see if their system does not have the system recs. Now, the system requirements you need for Windows 11 is a TPM. And this is just a little chip that's on the main board that's going to do security of your device. So TPM will give you a little more protection on your hardware. Windows 11 requires the TPM, and this is why it's not letting us go forward. So if we click here and try to go forward, it just won't let us. It says not compatible. So Windows 11 in a VM is a little tougher. What we can do is power off. And let's go through this. I believe there is a way of adding the TPM hardware. Trusted Platform Module. Now it doesn't let us do this because it must be encrypted and using UEFI. So let's go here and see if it's encrypted. Is this VM encrypted? More than likely it's not. Let's go here to see the BIOS we were using. Go through these settings. Encrypt. And let's just type a password. Okay. So now the VM is going to be encrypted. And now we need to find out where the UEFI. We already know we're in UEFI. And we can say enable secure boot. Click OK. Now let's power this on again and see if the ISO kicks in. Okay. We'll go back to server 22. Server 22 is pretty much done. But now the Windows 11. Now the whole point of this video was to show you this Windows 11 caveat with doing virtualization. And we may still see it. Let's see, because I believe I didn't turn on the TPM. Okay, so we see it again. So let's power off the VM. And we need to go to edit hardware. Let's add. And now we've done that part. We've added all those pieces we needed to. Click finish. So that was one piece we forgot to do when we did all the settings changes here of encryption. Now we have the TPM. So we've added the chip to the VM. Trusted Platform Manager. And let's see if we can bypass this error. So rather than going through this part, as we see here, go. So this is pretty much it. It's installed, it's running, we're able to use it. So it appears Windows Server 2022, it almost appears like it's 2016/2019. It doesn't have the new start menu of Windows 11, so this version of Windows maybe isn't the same as Windows 11, but it looks a little cleaner, so it has a little bit of the interface. We shall see what this does. So that's really the objective of this video for that OS. Now let's go and see if we can get this Windows 11 installed now. Checking to see if we have a TPM. And let's see if it lets us do it. And there we go. So that was all we had to do in a VM for Windows 11. We just had to have, the hardware TPM. So once we added the Trusted Platform module, that is a requirement of Windows 11. We added a virtual one. We've encrypted the VM. Right? So we went to General. We went down all the way to access control. We did encrypt the VM. We gave it a password. Just remember the password. And then once we've done that, we just need to make sure we have UEFI and enable secure boot. Once you do that, then you can add the trusted platform module. And once you have that, your VM will act like a physical machine with hardware. And as I stated, Windows will finish its install. We're running 21H2. So that's server 2022. And this will finish in a couple of minutes. And we've pretty much met the objective here. Now, the objective of this video was to show you the install, but as well the TPM, how to actually make sure VMware can work with this TPM requirement. So as you see, it's fully installing. And it doesn't seem to be an issue. If anybody's keeping up with Windows, the latest versions of Windows, you generally have newer hardware. I see a lot of internet videos out there talking about how don't upgrade when you have a 10-year-old machine. If you have a 10-year-old machine, you're probably not making use of all the hardware or the requirements or any of the newer type features and functions of systems. To upgrade to a new OS, it's you're not getting the usage of all the new software and the new abilities. So really, it would be pointless to take a 10-year-old machine and expect to run Windows 11 on it. I would think anything 10 years old probably be good running best at Windows 7, and further back XP and so forth. So I don't agree with the argument out there about having older hardware and complaining you can't use the newest OS. I know you can put Linux on anything and older hardware runs good on Linux, but if you have an older Mac, same issue. You can't use certain software because the further back it is, the less secure it is because you don't get patches. So keeping up with Windows 11, in this case, it's a training video and it's a training environment for us to run test VMs. So as we will see here in a moment, Windows will boot in and then we can end the video because we've met our objectives of downloading and installing each one of the OSs, the server-based one, and Windows 11 for the front-end desktop version. So here we go. This should boot up. I haven't seen your Windows is running for the very first time anymore, so maybe they got rid of that. That's interesting. I do, however, find these messages annoying with the spinning balls. Just after, if anybody's ever patched the server, you notice it could sit here for 5-10 minutes in some cases. There you go. So Windows 11 is up and running and installed. And your initial setup. I usually leave the defaults because I am in Canada, if I choose Canada, it automatically assumes I need a French keyboard. So I just say US and US. That seems to be the standard. And you see down below the hard disk, the network, everything is all running, including audio. So this is going out to the internet. If we wanted to, we could just take the network off temporarily so it doesn't go out and do any updates. We just do this and say disconnect. And you'll probably get an error in a second saying we've lost network connection. As you've seen, I've taken the network away. But you can always right click down here in VMware Workstation and click connect again. So it's probably already downloaded its updates. There you go. So let's see if we can get in with an offline account. And there's some fictitious data. And now we go through all of this. So if you want to turn off the telemetry, you can. It's really up to you. My testing, I always turn it off, but it's up to you what you decide. And accept. And as you saw, it didn't bother me to go online because I disconnected the internet. So anytime you're setting up Windows, if you don't want to go through creating an account on OneDrive, out in Microsoft and have it internet connected, then you can just disconnect your network adapter or unplug it if it's physical, and you won't be bothered with an online account. However, if you forget your password, you can't get into your machine. That is the benefit of going to an online account, because you could just reset your Microsoft account and then get back into your system by resetting the account, as long as your system is on the internet. So this is very interesting. Windows 11 installs. My first time running it. I didn't play with the betas too much. I tend not to do that because there's usually some issues with it, and time is a constraint for me for spending time and playing with operating systems. I tend to deal more with the server side than the desktop. But it is interesting to see how they went to Windows 11. So without dragging this video on, this should just come up in a minute or so. We'll give it a minute. If not, we'll bring the video to a close, as we have achieved our 2 objectives for this lab. In the next lab, we will start on another topic. I will probably do something with Linux again, and I'll try and back and forth between Windows and Linux, or we will start the connection of doing file servers and iSCSI within Server 22. That's probably an item I'd like to do, because I know it's forever an option. So here we go. Windows 11 is now up, and as you see, the start button's more in the middle, where start button's still here. So this is more based on the Windows 20, I'll say 2016 build, and this is built more on the Windows 11, the new structure. So we click here. Let's see if we can get WinVer. And 21H2. Uh, 203.48.230. So there you go. So this is a little higher in a build. So there's a difference in the builds between, but it is 21H2. They're both the exact same build. So the core of it is the same, just the look and feel is different. So be interesting to see. As we see, it is more centralized here, this Cortana bar. I never understood why they put Cortana on servers, because you'd never use it. But that's the problem with the core of the OS being the same. So server and desktop OSs are pretty much the same, with just the options to add more things like Active Directory and so forth. So there we go. We have met our objectives, as I mentioned earlier, and we will bring this video to a close. And please like, subscribe, add some comments down below if anything you'd like to see for the next video, or any one of the labs we're carrying forward. I will try and bring more and more labs per the week. I'm trying to get at least 3 labs a week to get them uploaded in shorter videos rather than hour-long videos. I think this one went about 20 minutes. So thank you again for watching. See you next video.